information as we get the market coming into 8:30, and you get the cash traders, the people who basically trade during the quote unquote cash market hours, who weren't there to take advantage of what happened with Nvidia, who, you wait until that next morning. And Tom, you always emphasize time frames here. Why is RB3 so important? Because it's the beginning of the US cash market. And you do have an influx of traders, and Don was able to take advantage of that. So understanding time, place, context, and using it to your advantage, that's what trading's all about. Okay, and let's see. Pivot call on RDDT last night. Double checking roadmap. There you go, Kevin. Let's go ahead and post that one up. Here's the difference between taking advantage of, well, basically taking advantage of which tools are you taking advantage of? So are you getting Tom's pivot calls from the previous night, or are you looking at the time and place of the market and making your own calls? Well, you can do both here at DTI. So it is time to go into train and trade. Actually, I guess we're about a minute away.
Yeah,
So,
Chuck, you notice that it's very interesting. I find it so interesting to me. You have a certain number of people here that's early, and then in the next 4 minutes, you'll have people signing in. And then the numbers get up there. And I mean, it's sort of interesting to watch it, you know. And I think that the pattern. You know, it's the pattern, Chuck. Usually
yeah,
about 4 or 5 after 11, we got a full house, and so I like watching the people come through the door uh, like a greeter, I guess, right? And you can see it, but pretty amazing. But we've got a big day planned, and we get to talk about one of our favorite subjects, and that is the roadmap software. You're going to see some stuff today, I think, that's pretty exciting. And so, uh, why don't we could get started? It's 11 o'clock. Are y'all okay if I start right now? It's going to be a great session, I think, for people. I've got a trade. I got Jonathan. I'll just tell you out. If TLT, if TLT hits a certain level, I'm going to do a put spread on TLT. That trade I've been doing every couple of weeks. I'm going to do it again today. It's setting up, so I'll be doing that trade for sure today. I think based on what we're looking at. But
Hey,
I'm going
Tom.
to say, look, let me make a comment about NVIDIA. Chuck gave us numbers yesterday, and I listened to Chuck because I know at DTI he is the guy when it comes to the exact numbers. He calculates this stuff out, and it's hard to believe he's once an English major, but I think he's a mathematician too. But it always threw me him being an English major and a mathematician was his real I thought his real asset. But Chuck said yesterday on NVIDIA, he said 185 was an upside frame. 168 was a downside frame. Last night during earnings, it didn't go above 185 and it didn't go below 168, but it hovered in the top third of the range. And I said to myself, this is very bullish. And matter of fact, I posted a little voice memo this morning in TNT. It said, this tells me NVIDIA is going a lot higher. And I just noticed on a Seeking Alpha post that somebody just upgraded NVIDIA. They see the same thing, meaning that NVIDIA is going higher over time. Maybe it won't outperform in the short run what the market's doing, because as Chuck also identified, we're in a sector rotation stage. In the sector rotation stage means other stocks start taking the spotlight away from the Mag 7. Okay? Buck took that information from Chuck, post that. let's give Chuck. He made 75 cents credit off of that information you posted yesterday on NVIDIA. I'd say you get a hex off. Way to go, Buck. That is so fun to see people taking advantage of that. And, you know, people are paying their dues. They're learning. And it wasn't free. We charge for this stuff. But we see evidence of it time and time again, watching people. Most of the serious students that we have an educational budget every year because they know the power of ongoing education. But past performance is not indicative of future results. Now, the weekly newsletter. My push is to get everybody here with it. Chuck has just added a new thing on Wednesdays. He is going to give we'll call it a highlight report, Chuck, right? You know, what we said and how you could have benefited, so to speak. On Wednesdays, you'll do that at Train and Trade and publish it in the room. That's something that he'll get inside the numbers we gave you. I think for the $9.99, everybody here ought to be a member. And if you want to join, you go to dtitrader.com/weekly. Chuck, did you do your report yesterday? I forgot to ask. Did you put it on and publish it and everything?
I think for yesterday's, we were focusing on just getting that into the presentation, but I can write that up. I've got another thing that
Yeah,
I'm
why
going
don't
to
you
write up.
write it up? Because I think that's I like them to see it in writing because the value they're getting from this weekly newsletter, Ken, is sort of understated. It really is. You print it off and I sit there and it reminds me of things that I sometimes forget about, like the gold you pointed out. Gold was at 312 when he pointed out. It's at 314 this morning. I read an article on Seeking Alpha, Chuck, on gold. They were talking about with interest rates coming down, they're predicting gold. I didn't look at the time frame, but headed to 5,000. That sort of got my attention reading that article. And you know, the guy that wrote it makes a lot of sense. On the part I read, I got to read the whole article when I get some time. On
Yeah,
gold.
5,000 is definitely kind of aggressive. That would catch my attention too. I would imagine that time frame is a little bit more than the end of the year.
Oh yeah, I do too. But I got to read the whole article, but it was on a Seeking Alpha, and I saw it. Okay.
Yeah, and just to go back, Tom, you were talking about the information that we put out yesterday in this train and trade segment, and Buck being able to take advantage of that. So, guys, show up early because there will be information that you can use. You know, we make a point of giving you as much information as we can, and I've had a few people take advantage of that. So there is a reason to show up early here.
All right, folks. The retirement center. I want to get more engaged on the retirement center, but you can count on the following. After the third day of the month, trade day. Let's see, that would be the second, third, fourth. Probably that would be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Next Friday, I will have a special flash meeting on the retirement center. Write that down, if you will, Jonathan. I definitely want to do it next Friday after we get the 3A algo out of the way for the retirement center. But try to get in there, and if you want a Tasty Trade account, all you have to do, send Jonathan an email and he'll give you the link. DTI is the referral, but you ought to do that. That way they know that we're paying attention and trying to train and trade people. That's the retirement center. Anybody here not a member of that retirement center, and why would you not be? I'm just curious. You're listening to me on Train and Trade, you sure want to watch what we do when we apply this in my IRA as I go forward in the second half of the year. I didn't see anybody say they're not a member. Buck said he heard the cost was prohibited. Wait, it's no cost. That's right. I'm not charging for it. I'm doing it to prove a point how great this method is. And I thought I'd have a whole bunch of love letters at the end of our journey together at the end of December. That's my plan. Yeah, we put ourselves out there doing this, but I don't care because I want to share with you what I'm doing. I think, y'all remember that CDE I gave you, that stock, that gold stock? I told you it's going to 7.5. I said, this will pay for anything you're doing. Y'all remember that? How about KGC? Just noticed KGC went over 20. All right, Monday we have a September Labor Day webinar at 10 o'clock in the morning on Monday. I hope y'all come. It's about my 20th plus year that I'm doing it. I hope you make it. I'll be here. That's on Monday, 10 o'clock. You do have to take action, though. You can't be a member of the retirement center or be at that webinar on Monday unless you take action and show up. That's half the battle. Hey, Mary Ann, since you still own those, type the current prices where I can share that with people. Released earlier today, the GDP initial. Y'all notice they revised GDP up? I'm telling you, Kevin Hassett has said that we're going to run about 4% in the second half. If that's true, that's almost a double of your net worth, I think. PC tomorrow morning at 8:30. They downgraded it. Chuck, did you notice they downgraded PCE to 2%? I read that report also.
Yeah, looking at that information now, it's important to remember: don't confuse PCE with PPI. Of course, the PPI number was huge. The PCE number is going to be a little bit different. We compare that to what the PCE was last time, and uh, I'm looking at this. Yeah, Econoday is basically saying they expect it to be flat, so no real change from the previous numbers.
Yeah, it's just got my attention. It seems like they're revising a few things, and I thought that was good. All right, that's upcoming news. PCE tomorrow. Now, this is a class coming up. Is it worth coming? Well, don't ask me. Ask everybody that's been to one of my small classes. I think you can say if you take the time, effort, and get here, the small classes will pay you dividend after dividend after dividend because I'm able to do at a small class. I've been doing these things for years. Remember when I used to do it in Mobile, Chuck? These small classes? And people, we had a bond call in there. It was worth about 50,000 bucks. I remember making that in that small class years ago on a bond. You definitely want to put this in your playbook. And the benefit, if you join, you get a whole year in our Futures First education, which is very valuable. You saw what one of our students did this morning. He posted in here, Chuck posted, okay? Pretty good stuff. Yep, there's the free year I'm giving away as part of your coming, and you put that in perspective. Now, if you already got a year, we add a year to your current subscription. That's good too. You don't lose. In my opinion, the next target on the S&P, write this down, 65.45. Mary Ann just gave me where those stocks are. CDE, which we bought around 4, is now at 12.56. Ego is at 23.90. That's another one we bought. Okay. And KGC is at 2017. You think I can pick those things? That's pretty good picking, isn't it, Mary Ann? That's real money, in my opinion. Now, I showed this yesterday, and I would tell you, to a man and woman, my goal was to get everybody at 70% accurate with the SPX. Let me ask them, folks, how am I doing on that goal, getting everybody 70% accurate in this training phase? Michael's at 67%. Frank says home run. It's starting to come clear the way the steps I'm teaching, isn't it? You might think I've done this before. I have. Awesome training today. We had what I would call a semester test today. I tested everybody to make sure they were doing. And Junior says he's 100%. He's really caught on. Way to go, Junior. It just gives you what I teach. Does anybody, let me ask that question, because I don't know. Does anybody ever teach what I'm teaching about trading? Have y'all seen anybody teach the details? Michael says no. Rob J says no. John says no. Evidently, I must hit a chord with you. I like that. I like that. This is a trade. We put another winner on the board with our one ticker program. You know, Jonathan, what is it about this one ticker? I mean, we just keep hammering win after win after win. 26 winners in a row. Will anybody here pay $97 to be a member of my one ticker program? Will you try it? 26 in a row. John says, I just did it at that price. Get on board. I can't believe that. 26 winners in a row. Anybody else do that? I don't think so. I used the roadmap software. I used MTI by DTI. Welcome to our Monday train and trade. Okay. Neil, you got to thumb through what you need to do is go through the Retirement Center Telegram channel and just scroll back. It's all in there. All right, all trades will be posted in TNT. Has that program surged in value, my TNT program? I think it has. Yep. Perfect. Now, I did a trade on TQQ Monday. We're going to check in. Jonathan, why don't you brief us on this?
Well, the slide says it all there, folks. The TQQ booked a profit this morning.
So we actually pay. Oh, John, let me understand. We don't charge for this. So we're actually paying people to come up. In other words, we flipped the script, hadn't we? Where you get paid for being here. You got to love that. You got to love that. You get paid for being here. $120 here, $500 there adds up. Okay. Dinosaur Skip even likes it. All right, let's keep going. All right, Jonathan, this is your part. We give this to Jonathan. This is our foundational view. of the month of August. Take it away, Jonathan.
Okay, we're finishing up the month of August here, last 2 days. Get this updated. Thursday, August 28th, and the time is 11:18. Got the S&P Nasdaq Dow still in a long position. Should be used to that. Same for crude short. Hey, gold's starting to play along with silver now. It's above its first 3 days high this morning. That's a good sight to see for all you gold fans. Bitcoin is no longer short, so Bitcoin looks like it might have perked up a little bit today. TLT still short. Nvidia still long after its earnings, but just barely. Look at that first 3 days high on Nvidia, 180.26. Current price 180.5. Apple, Amazon still long. Same for Micron. We mentioned yesterday that the Oracle and Microsoft are going against the grain here, weak for the month.
And that helps you, folks, because Microsoft's been a horse, but it's basically telling you that timing's off right now for it. Got to listen to the time.
And for those that don't know, this is a monthly report. We actually issue it pretty much every day since we're live every day, but we're looking at the month open and the first 3 trade days of the month, and then comparing the current price to those numbers, get an idea of long or short or out. And so the ones that are long above their high from the first 3 trade days of August say long. The ones that say short are below the low from the first 3 trade days of August. Of course, we do have today and tomorrow to finish up August, so we have a chance to restart everything. Maybe Microsoft will be a leader next month. We'll have to kind of see how that comes into play. I'm not saying it will, not saying it won't, but the point is a new month starts a new race, if you will. Tesla, Berkshire. Some defense stocks here, Raytheon and Lockheed Martin. There's your Elon, Tom.
How's Elon doing? Still gradually going higher?
18.5 now. That's a point higher than last time I thought about it.
Wow. All right.
Archer Daniel Midlands. There's your Ethereum as well, ETH. Uber, McDonald's. A block of green here. We got the indexes, gold. Reddit. And these down here at the very bottom are the weekly income pairs, dividend pairs.
Yeah, Tuesday and Friday, we use Roundtree and we use Roundtree Investments. You ought to go check it out, and Yield Max. Thanks to old Carol.
Len says my month open on YMAG is wrong. Let's check that out with the roadmap here. I got the month open on YMAG according to the roadmap at 1524. What do I have it on here? That's way wrong. You're right. Thank you. Thank you, Len. That 4494 came from QDTY, I guess. Not sure how that happened. Fixed up. Thanks again, Len. That was slide number. You can grab that spreadsheet on slide number 18 on the today's slide deck. We're going to move on from now.
All right, folks, got a vacuum in the background. I'm waiting for the vacuum to get out of sight where I can talk. But today's focus, how the market looks forward to the next week and how to prepare. Does everybody here know about the Stock Traders Almanac? Know what it is? I've got a whole 20 years of buying it up there in the back. The Stock Traders Almanac is something that we've been buying for 20 years. I think it's very good for, especially if you want to remind yourself of certain trends, seasonality, stuff like that, and facts out of it are pretty substantial. It's definitely paid for itself over the years. But again, constantly educating ourselves there.
You know, Tom, I looked at my almanac today and I couldn't find the thing. I don't know what happened to it, but if we hadn't prepared at the first of the year, I wouldn't know what the almanac said. But because we prepare at the first of the year, kind of map out every month of the year, I had the information. I'd still like to track down my almanac, of course, but here's what the almanac says for September.
Basically, as you get towards the end of the year, the trend is for a lot of these money managers and things to start pitching stocks that are down. So what does that tell you? If you got stocks on your process that are negative, they're going to go lower. That's what it's telling you. And we want to highlight that for people. The hope stage is over, hoping it's going to come back. And so if you got something like, I'd say below the monthly open, below the 3-day low, you probably, if you're long that, you probably ought to say, let me go get something that has the exact opposite. Does everybody understand the major money trend that happens where the big money starts getting rid of that stuff going into September? And you got to be out on outlook. And so we got a scanner inside the roadmap, and we'll point that out when we go to the live market, how you can figure out which stocks are going to be pitching. Okay. Another function of the roadmap software. Going into September, September is usually a struggling month, doesn't have to be. When it's not struggling, they really buy it. So you got to pay attention. Nothing's for sure, but the tendency is for September to be a little rough going into October at the end of the fiscal year. And that tells you the trends that are normally in place when you get to September. I think hope stage dies in September is the way I think about it. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Give me a yes if you understand what I'm saying. The hope stage dies in September.
TLT just went to 87.11.
Okay, let's go out to next month's expiration. What can you get for 87.86? John, are you there?
Oh, I'm sorry, Tom, I was muted. For September 19th, the at the money 87 to 86 put spread is marked at 41.40 to 41 cents right now. Credit.
That's the one we're going to do. Okay, it's aggressive, but we're going to do it, and we'll put that in T&T. So Does everybody understand the trade we're going to do? And reminder, we follow along in TNT. And that pays you money to be part of TNT because we'll keep you updated as we go along.
You want to give a target on that up front?
Yeah, on this one, I want to pay 11 cents.
All right. Bruce is filled at 40 cents. So there we go. Off and running. Gonna take a minute or two to get everything posted here, Tom.
Yeah, just let me know when it's time to go. This is a trade that I'm working on TNT for the next year. So let's do some math. If you did a 10 lot, made 400 bucks, and I did this trade every month successfully, and we made 75% or $300 a month. So 10 times 3, that's 3,000, about $3,700 on this one little ticker. I'm going to work for the next 12 months. Sounds good to me. What kind of return is that? If you're using 600 bucks to put up, so if you made, let's just call it $3,000 over 600. Anybody interested in making, what's that, 500%? What do you think? Right there in little old TNT. Every month I'm gonna set it up. $0.40 according to Right Off. Right, are you a member of TNT? John, maybe you ought to post that TNT how to sign up for these people that's not members, where they can become a member.
Sure, be happy to post it again here. DTItrader.com/TNT. It's 40 cents, Rob. Make
40
sure you have
cents, Rob. You got the wrong expiration. Jim got 42 cents. Carol, we could trade it weekly. But you're going to get firepower, Ryder, if you join TNT. No, it's TLT, Rob. TLT is the symbol. It's the bond. All right, let's keep moving. Key dates in September, Labor Day, Monday, we'll have our big 10 o'clock webinar. Unemployment's on that Friday. PPI, CPI, 10th and 11th. 17th, we got GDP and PCE. That's the stack up of key dates. Key dates. Be patient, Neil, you'll get it. Check your price. 40 cents is good, 39 is okay.
Yeah, and then make sure you're selling the spread, Neil. You're not buying it. Sell the spread for 40 cents or higher. It just traded at 42 cents, so you should get filled right away.
Max wants you to explain this trade in plain English. I thought I was in plain English.
It is in plain English. It is in plain English. Max, you're selling an 87 put and buying an 86 put. Now, if you've never done that type of trade before, make sure you go through our Options Made Simple course before you put your money at risk.
Absolutely. All right, let's keep it moving. All right, Chuck, it's got a little bit on the Monday holiday market. Take it away, Chuck.
Yeah, so we got an interesting setup here in that Monday is the first day of September. This, from a trading standpoint, I think this occurs maybe once every 5 or 6 years. So it's a little bit unusual, although we are looking at a Monday holiday. It's a Monday holiday where we also open the month of September. So for those of you who are stock traders, it's pretty simple. You got Monday off. Don't worry about it. But for us futures traders, it's a little bit more complicated because we typically like to leave the futures markets up to track the international markets. And because of that, the trade date and how things stack up is always going to be a little bit different. When we open trading in futures markets Sunday night, many of them are going to be opening for Tuesday's trade date. So while everybody else has a day off, futures traders get an extra long day of work. That's the way that works. So it is going to be a little bit time off. But if we can go ahead and Jonathan, if you can take us to that website, cmegroup.com, trading hours, and you guys can find this at the CME. What we're looking at here is the times, and this trading hours will default to the most recent holiday. So I'm always focused on equities, but if you're looking at interest rates or energy or any other particular market, that information is there. But let's focus on the equities here. So Sunday night, which is the 31st of August, we'll have trade date Tuesday, September, with a pre-open at 1600. Don't mind too much on the pre-open. It has some meaning, but we aren't that interested in the time. The 1700 open. Now, because this is a CME and it's based out of Chicago, these times are Central Time. So I want to be clear on that one. Many of you are focused on stocks, which of course most of your stocks come out of New York, and they're going to be Eastern time. So Central time, Eastern time, you got to be able to make that conversion. It's only a 1 hour difference, but it does matter. Now we go to the next day for equities, Monday, September 1st, and you'll notice still has the trade date of the 2nd of September, and we hit this pre-open at noon. Now, told you not to pay attention to the pre-open. On this one, you do. What that means is that the market has entered a halt status. Now, a halt is not a close, so let's be clear about that. And when we resume trading at 1700, they call it an open. It's really resuming trading. You'll notice that the trade date for Sunday night and for Monday are the same trade date. So we don't actually have a close, we have a halt. And that's what that pre-open does. It just puts the market in sort of a static state. This is where it is. It's going to stay here. Come back in 5 hours and we'll resume trading. That's the way that works. And then you go into Tuesday, September 2nd, when everybody's online. We'll have our equity markets joining us at their normally scheduled times. And our
Hey, Chuck, let me give you an exception. I
Okay.
believe equities will start Monday night at 8. I think I'll have to verify that, but I
I
do believe they open at 8 o'clock Monday night.
I would assume so because if they're going to normally scheduled times, that would be the time that they open for Tuesday's trade days,
Which
8
means if
p.m.
you got the roadmap software, Chuck, with that new feature I've created, you will
Hmm.
have all the information to be ahead of the crowd. That's the reason I'm bringing it up, because the roadmap will do the work for you, even if you're out partying late on Labor Day. Yeah, Don, it should be available.
Yeah, so the NYSE simply says that Labor Day is a holiday. So I would assume that you're going to be on normal hours after you get past the holiday. So trade date September 1st is a holiday. Trade date September 2nd is not. And of course, as Tom rightfully pointed out, trade date September 2nd for your stocks begins at 8 p.m. Eastern Monday night.
That's
Now,
it. I bet you 99% of the people you ought to have some fun. If once we verify with Schwab, I think I'm right, but have some fun. Say, hey, winter stocks open after the holiday, they're going to tell you 9:30 the next morning. Guess what? You listen to me and DTI, you're going to be so far ahead of everybody else next week. They won't know what hit it.
Right. So we move on to that September 2nd. You'll notice the close. We actually have a close. Red highlight. That means the market is closed. That's the end of September 2nd trade date. And you'll notice the next section down, we focus on trade date September 3rd. You get that 1700 open. They'll start the pre-open at 1645. But it's the open that we're concentrating on there. So that gets us back into the normal schedule of times. Now, equities are not the only markets we trade. Interest rates actually looking pretty much the same hours, but if we scroll down, energy, you'll notice energy does not halt on Monday until 13:30 Central Time, so 2:30. So Tom, if you're out there and you're wanting to trade crude, that crude market will be open a little bit longer than the equities. Right? And we keep going down. You'll get grains. I'm trying to think if there's metals is going to be a little bit further down the list, I believe. You can see FX is, notice FX, the pre-open there, the halt is not until 1600. That's effectively a full trade date. It's just masquerading as September 2nd trade date. Metals, same as energy, they're going to hit that pre-open 1330. That's the halt. So whatever it is you're trading, be aware of those hours, and this website will do a good job of getting you there. So if we go back to our slides and get back on schedule here, and that's the main thing is just that website, the CME website. I would give you the NYSE website. You can find it by going to NYSE trading hours. Just Google that. It's pretty easy to find. Unfortunately, the only thing the NYSE does is say, yeah, Labor Day's a holiday. Talk to you later. That's all they do. They don't give you details of the hours and that kind of stuff, which is a little bit unfortunate. The CME does a much better job of it. So if you're ever wondering about trading hours, always go and check at the CME because NYSE trading hours are, yeah, July 4th is a holiday. Labor Day is a holiday. Thanksgiving is a holiday. Christmas is a holiday. Well, thank you, New York Stock Exchange. I wasn't aware of that before. I'd love if they could give us their trading hours, but apparently they got so many different things going on. They just try and keep it as simple as they can. And keep it simple is not a bad way to look at things, but the CME does a lot more detail giving us those trading hours. So apparently we're going to summarize here. By the way, what you're looking at with the Labor Day holiday is what we get for basically every Monday holiday. And we get a couple of those throughout the year. Memorial Day is a Monday holiday. Martin Luther King Jr. is a Monday holiday. Washington's birthday, President's Day, is a Monday holiday. And then Memorial Day, but this is the last one of the year with Labor Day. Unless, of course, Christmas happens to fall on a Monday, but this year it falls on a Thursday. So that'll be fun when we get to Christmas. The next major holiday, by the way, Tom, Thanksgiving. I'm looking forward to some turkey already.
And people, we pay particular attention to holiday action, because we're traders. A lot of people don't know this information, but we're traders. We try to summarize it, keep everybody in the know, because nothing's worse than finding out things after the fact, right? So, and that's happened to me many times, okay?
Yeah, real quick, I want to correct Jonathan. Jonathan, on this slide, futures open Sunday night. Instead of close, that should say halt Monday.
Yep. Okay. All right. I'll fix that. That's very important. Anything else you may change here at show?
Probably resume instead of open for that Tuesday. Or yeah, there we go. And while we're at it, just go ahead and take out again. Resume again might be redundant. There we go. Sorry, had to do some editing. You know how I am, Tom. I'm a stickler for details. I like details.
English major. Okay.
Well, I'm glad you said that because it reminded me. You know why English, like having a literature type degree translates into the market?
Do I know
Number
why?
numbers are the language of the market.
Right.
So
All
I'm
right,
still using.
let's keep moving here. I got some stuff I got to cover in a short time to get there. Oh, that brings back some memories right there. Doesn't it bring back memories, Chuck?
Absolutely. That was just such an amazing building. And driving up to it every day, coming up that hill and then seeing that sign and
Teaching the art
knowing,
of trading.
yeah, and knowing that we built that, Tom. I mean,
I
heck, you
know.
built that. I was just around when you did, but that that was not a building that we bought. That was a building that we built.
Yeah, I would say the greater part of the way I built that was my old Globex terminal. You know, it was it was it's just a great place, still in use. Okay. 1996. I remember when I started. Now, almost everything we do here at DTI revolves around answering that question, long, short, or out. I think my SPX traders have a new meaning for this. They saw in living color today what was meant by those words. And I'm happy to report the people in my SPX are better traders just in this short bit of learning what I'm teaching about market timing. No doubt in my mind after seeing the answers. How about you, John? If you see those answers ahead as we tested them throughout that first hour?
Oh
I
yeah,
was
great to see. Great to
I was
see.
very impressed. All right. Here's 5 insights to help you answer the question on a daily basis. Write these down. Know the pivot number. Notice today I gave you a pivot number. It was a stretch pivot, 6505, and it served us well today during the action that we've seen. 6505. That was insight number 1. The roadmap gives us entry places and exit places, and I can tell you right now, looking at the E-mini and looking at everything, we don't have what I would say a confirmed buy signal because the reference bar this morning was proportionally too high to set us up for a long. And I'll explain that once we go live. Our tools, nothing liking. We always know where the strongest horse in the race is. And you can see that very easy using, hey, we got a horse race trade to see it. Leveraging the principle, like we're using, like instead of you buying TLT, we're going to just take the obligation to buy it by selling options on it and leverage your profit potential instead of putting up roughly 60 or 70,000 bucks. We're putting up 600 bucks and getting the same profit we would get, or even more, using options. Got to know options, I think, in this day and time. Now, there's people, I keep going back to SPX. Today, I said, make your decision. This is your test score, long, short, or out. I think they got so much out of having to come to conclusion and how they came to conclusion with their answers this morning. Insight number 5. Using these insights, making the right choice will make you money. That's the bottom line. You want to make money? Learn what I'm teaching. I learned it the hard way. I didn't have any of this stuff. Nobody told me that first 30 minutes was the reference bar to base all the action for the next 3 hours on. Nobody told me that. I found that out By losses, we call it the school of hard knocks. A graduate. That's the hard way. I'm giving it to you. Going through 1987 taught me a lot. It taught me I didn't know half of what I thought I did. It opened my eyes to the fact I had a lot to learn and a lot to get rid of that Wall Street had taught me. You know, let me just give you an example. Have I ever talked to you in depth about stochastics, MACD, different technical indicators? I mean, just in general, have I ever talked to you in depth about all that stuff? Elliott wave, all that stuff. Have I ever did that? There must be a reason, isn't there? Because I lost a lot of money doing that stuff. I'm teaching you how to read the tape and how to make money off the tape. Only true way to do it. And it can be short term, swing, or long term. Doesn't have to be short term, reading the tape. Going by the numbers. We're going to figure out, and I'm going to bring everybody along, long, short, or out. And then there's the other side of it. When it doesn't go your way, you got to get out of it. I'm very optimistic that I can do this. And with the team I got, we do a great job, I think, laying it out, giving you the right trade. So today, let's talk about today. Should I be long, short, or out, talking about the general trend today on the market? What would be your answer? I know what mine is because my hand's here and not on this mouse. That's right. Absolutely. Every day, every time zone, we answer that question, long, short, or out. Notice I said time. We have the reference boards. We graduate from the early bird to the RB3 to Genesis to RB4, and then the closing bell. We graduate through time. We follow that clock. There's time right there. That picture there, I made that many years ago. That's been seen by more people than anything we've done at DTI. That is there. That is the picture of the world, if you want to know how the world works. Asia first, Europe second, US early, US late. And that's where you break it down by those times, those key reference bars, 1 through 4. You play that. And that's a lot of information. Isn't that a lot of information to keep up with? What if I had a way that I had a piece of software that would keep up with for it and do all the work? Would that be valuable to you to have that software working for you in the background, using that technology? Would it be worth it to have that? I believe it would. And we call that the roadmap software. Bigger picture starts at the year, the month, week, and day. We went through the foundational 3-day algo today. That's what that's about. Pivot numbers. You got to know how to think, and you have to have a number, okay? And you got to know where it's going to stop. There's resistance points and support points. The art of framing is a whole concept that we're going to teach in September inside the roadmap. We start with the futures. Notice I call it Futures First Education. There's a reason I named it that, because futures start out first. You got the E-mini going up. Instantly, I know 75% of all the major stocks are going up, E-mini's going up. That's a simple way of coming to a conclusion about direction. We connect it to the stock market, and then how much is the average run that something moves? Well, we got that inside the roadmap too. We know the numbers. I can tell you today, you can add 56 points to the low of the day, and that's to be the average run this sucker could go in a day. That's the concept. Again, we're going to get the right answer, long, short, or out. If you learn what I teach you, you'll be starting out at 67% accurate. You might make a little money at 67% accurate. Yeah, Don, you can day trade futures without having a $25,000 account. There's no silly requirement like that over on the future side. That's controlled by farmers. They don't put up with silliness. Answering that question gives you an action plan every day, removes the fear and creates optimism, allows you to write your own ticket. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I stayed out this morning because that's what the market told me to do. Doesn't mean I'll stay out all day. I got shots at every reference bar. Keeping it simple is what you do. There's an RB trader identifying what's working up and what's working down. Couple basic rules is all you need to learn using the DTI roadmap. The point is, everybody here that wants to be or aspires to be a trader better have this on their computer if they want to be successful, in my opinion. I know I've trained enough students over the years. A lot of people's fault that that process of having the roadmap. They try to do it by hand. They can't keep up. I can't keep up. I've been doing it for all these years. I got to have this technology working for me. All the opportunities, everything's right there for you inside the roadmap zone. All right, keep going. Now, these next four patterns is really the heart of the roadmap. I'm going to go through that, and we're going to go to the end. I'm going to go to a live market. Notice there's a penetration bar into the top yellow zones. Everybody see that? Acknowledge you see that. Then the bar after that confirms that there's your buy signal. That's what you're looking for in a perfect world. That's the buy signal. Now, a buy failure means it goes into the buy zone but never confirms. And here's a rule. If it does that, it's going to go to the opposite target. Those sometimes are great trades when they fail. Got to wait for the confirmation. There's a sell signal, the opposite of a buy signal. Down we go. Now, in a bull market, this is something I'll show you when we go live. We could have a sell failure today. A lot of people got short this morning on that down move, and we could have a sell failure if we go higher than that RB3. And it goes to the opposite target. That's the beautiful thing about it. We have all the packages put together. We've been building this for years. There's so much to talk about in this short period of time. The bottom line is the roadmap software is something you need, and there's not one person here can out-trade anybody with it. That's my view, okay? My view. You might think you got all the right stuff. I'll put the roadmap up against any guru out there. You can get 1 year access for $9.97. 1 year access for $9.97. Now here's what we're going to do. Jonathan put a 10-minute clock up there. I'm going to go live and finish up. Hey, Chuck, while we're waiting for the time to click off, why don't you talk to him really about your experience with the roadmap during that time? And then we're going to go live to a market when we finish, but get your spot. There's not a schedule there that I asked Adam to put in here, which for September, I'll tell you, next Tuesday, we'll have our first master class on Tuesday. And then every Monday after that for September, we'll meet at 12 o'clock right after Train and Trade to do a class on the roadmap. That's all during the month of September.
All right, yeah, sure, Tom. Basically, I mean, I can tell you one of the things about the roadmap software. And I like to give myself credit for helping to invent it. For those of you who don't know the history of this thing, the roadmap software started out as a simple spreadsheet. And what we were doing is we were looking at the prices of certain markets at each half hour. Now that meant that when I started working for Tom, I was working nights, and so from about 10 o'clock at night until about 6 in the morning, because Tom would come in, grab his coffee about 6:30 each morning, sometimes a little bit before that. I would be writing down literally on a clipboard um, prices of various markets so that they could be compared when Tom walks in and is having his coffee and getting everything. Now, eventually, we started realizing that it makes more sense, and you can keep the records by doing this in a spreadsheet format. And then it got to a point where, to be honest with you, I wanted to sleep at some point. So we decided to try and figure out a way to have the computer update all that information. Got in touch with the programmer, by the way, uh, still in touch with them, and we began creating what eventually you see as the roadmap software. So it started with really just the ETR page, which I still think is the most useful tool in the roadmap software.
Chuck, you
Um,
remember when I went to Costa Rica and I had you fax me the ETR page in Costa Rica? Remember that?
yeah, we were taking those pages off of the clipboard because we were printing them out even after we had them in the spreadsheet format. We'd print them out at the end of the day, and Tom's very much an in your hand type learner at this point. So even though it's on the computer screen, I got to tell you, this man was so focused on that Globex terminal, we had to take the pieces of paper and put them in front of him. And it was no different than when he was on vacation. We had to fax them, and as I recall, Tom, I had to call up a certain someone who was with you and say, "Hey, can you put this in his hand?" So,
That's
uh,
right.
for those of you that don't know, if you're sitting in a room trading with Tom, he is extremely focused on the market. He will be talking about everything. That focus, if you haven't been there to see that, I highly recommend doing it. So you're going to learn a lot, but that focus is something to you'll probably be a little bit surprised at. So yeah, we get it to a point where now we've got the roadmap software, basically the ETR page on the computer screen. And then it started being, okay, well, in addition to that, can we have this? In addition to that, can we have this? I got a new idea. And you see more and more things popping into roadmap. Even today, we're coming up with new ways of looking at how do we view these markets. And every time someone gets an idea, we hash it out, uh, go to the programmer and say, "Hey, can you do this?" And the roadmap right now is very modular, meaning that we can put updates in pretty easily. It's kind of a fabulous piece of software, actually, when you look at it. And just any sort of new thing that you think might be something that would benefit the roadmap software, hey, let us know because we are interested in growing this and making it better just as you guys are. So if you've got an idea, let us know. And if it's something work out and fix with the programmer, that's something we want to do. And this is, I think, Tom, the big selling point of the roadmap software is it is dynamic. This is not a static piece of software.
Right.
It's
And
continuing to grow year
regardless
after
of,
year.
yeah, regardless of what type trader you want to be or should be, you can trade it with the roadmap software because those features are inside there. Now, if you learn those 4 simple patterns, all of a sudden your account's going to grow because you'll say, this is not confirmed. It tells you right there looking at our compass charts. And, I think that I, I love talking about it, but I can't trade without it. The first thing I do, besides opening my brokerage account, I open the roadmap and go to my setup that I have in there, my workspace, to do it. Okay, and so there's a way to do that, Polly. Where you can get these layouts. We need to take some time, Jonathan, and get Jeff involved and have the internet where we can download these. I'll work on it, and we need to have that for workspace number 1 for one screen and for multiple screens, because I have different setups for different screens and different type trades. I've even got a page now, thanks to Carol, she's here, for the dividend payers. I got it set up on my roadmap. Anything I do in trading is going to trace back to the roadmap software. And this 8 o'clock open, I was doing it by hand. I talked to Mike, our program, said, Mike, I got to have this thing. Now I'm sharing it with you because I already made money. Give you an example, 176 was NVIDIA's support last night at 8 o'clock. I went in and sold the NVIDIA puts when it dropped down to 177, sold the NVIDIA puts, expire tomorrow, sold it for $1, worth about a quarter now. I mean, these are the kind of things you can do with the current information. I don't know why anybody would want to have it. And now I'm including 4 live trading classes with certain themes during September. That'll give you a scholarship. That's why I'm doing the 4 every week for the next month. So I'm putting the time in. You need to put the money in, get on board. Alan says, been trading for 15 plus years, being part of many in the industry. Why question roadmaps a must? Hey, if you ever go listen to anybody and listen to what they say, plug it in the roadmap, see if they're telling you the right thing or not, because it'll tell you. The roadmap does it unbiasedly. It takes the emotion out, right, Clara? Just follow the numbers. All right, I want to go live, so let's go live, and let's go live. Jonathan, bring up the roadmap to predictor. I want to look at 5 stocks or 5 tickers and give people targets going forward, okay? The date I'll be using is for the QQQ is the first one, will be the 3rd Friday in October. We'll look at the QQQ today, and we'll look at how high the roadmap says it's going to be in October. That'll be the first thing that we do. This is called the predictor. I love it. Appropriately named. You hear it here first. Tell them what you're doing, Jonathan. See, this is a mistake we make. Telling every step that you're doing where they can follow how easy it is to get this information.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you there, but it's under tables. It's called predictor. I just named it August 28th, today's date. Opens up a blank predictor feature. We'll right click and add symbol. QQQ. It's got to pull a lot of data here, so it takes a moment. And then it gives you 5 dates in the future on the option tab. How far are you looking to go, Tom?
I'd like to go to October. Can you do October?
We might be able to. We'll click on the predictor tab and then it changes the viewpoint. We'll change the expiration up top, see if it has. Yep, it's got October 17th, which is
That's
the
the
third
one I
Friday.
want. I want to know exactly on October 17th where this QQQ is going to be.
According to the options at yesterday's close, it says resistance up at 604, support
Okay.
down at 541.
Okay, 604, right, Jonathan?
That's right.
Okay, 575. 575 to 605. 604 would be 30 points, okay? So you say, well, that's great information, Tom. How are you going to make money? Very simply, you could buy that October 17th option, and I would buy a delta of about 50, and I would sell that strike price up there at 605. That's what it would cost you to do that trade. Okay, does everybody understand what I'm saying? I'd take a delta of 50, okay, and I would go out to October 17th, and I would sell the target off the QQQ. Everybody see how that works? Now let's just go through that one. I'm not going to go through every one of them. We're going to give them the prediction for the other four. Let's see what that would cost us to do that trade.
Went to the option chain for QQQ. Third Friday in October is October 17th. The 50 delta option, not that it has to be exact, but exact, it's a 577 call. And then the 605 call is offered up here. Buying the 577, selling the 605 would cost you about 11.5 bucks for that 18 wide, or what is that? That's more than 18 points. That's 28 points, I think. Yeah, 28 point.
Yeah, so you'd pay if you just did a basic trade, you'd pay about 1,100 bucks, right, for one option that's going to pay you, if the predictor's right, about what's that, 11 about 4 times. Is that right in the distance? What is the distance? 30
The
points.
distance is yeah. Well, let's make it easy. 575 to 605. That's a 30-point spread. You pay 12.5 for or so.
Yeah. That's an example. Now, if you don't want to pay that much, say your budget's only $5, then you could slide that 50 delta down and find you a net. How much is the 605?
The 605 is about $3.
So you could pay $8 and it'd give you a net 5.
Yeah, that'd be the 590 605, and you might be able to bring the strikes in some to get the same setup as well. You'd have to play with the strikes a little bit.
Yeah, play with it a little bit. But anyway, $5, right? If it goes to 605, now it's a lower probability trade. But the problem is, if it goes to 605, you're going to make a lot of money. You'd make two times that, because you buy the same dollars, right? 2 times 5 at 10. I'm just doing round up, and you'd make 90 to 15. Is that what you said, or 95? What is it? $10?
Yeah, you'd make 200% on that. Pay 5, get back $1,000 profit in return.
Yeah. And you could do other strategies. I just want to give everybody the power of this thing. Let's go to some other tickers. Let's go NVIDIA. How high is NVIDIA going to be by October 17th?
Maybe right click and add or delete that symbol, then right click add NVIDIA. Make sure it loads in here first. Let's see if they have an October 7th. They don't have an October 17th to look at. They got a December.
All right, tell me in December how far NVIDIA is going to go.
Predictor says by December, the stock could go up to 215.
All right, and Jonathan, I'm looking at it now. It's let's just call it 180 to 215, 25 points. It's headed that high. I think it's probably going to outperform that, but pretty good stuff, isn't it? Okay, that's NVIDIA. Okay, let's y'all give me a stock to put in here. Any stock that we'll throw in here. Instead of me naming stocks I'm making money off of, you give me Amazon. There's a good one. Amazon. Do Amazon.
By October 17th, the predictor says 248 to 249.
There you go. Palantir seems to be one everybody wants to know. Palantir.
Okay, for October 17th, again, the options, October 3rd, as of yesterday's close, the options imply the Palantir stock can go up to 181 by October 3rd.
There you go, 181. All right, I want to do something real quick, Jonathan. Go to your scan real quick and look at high noon shorts.
High noon. I went to scans. I went to high noon scanner. I'm going to click it over to the top 20 shorts.
All right, let's pick a stock there that's got Etsy. Okay, Etsy's a good one, right? It's 58 bucks, right? Etsy.
Down here, Etsy. Okay.
All right, go do a predictor to the downside on this one.
Tables. Predictor. I'll call it Etsy. Right click.
You only need to go out about a month on this one. Always your shorts are always shorter term.
For Etsy, they've got this Friday support 51.5, next Friday support 50, September 12th 49, and September 26th 48.5.
There you go, folks. You can play the market either way with the predictor. If you have a directional bias like we just did, the bias I didn't know Etsy was falling apart. I just know I've traded it before. I went to my high noon and scan. All right, let's do one more. Okay, let's do one more. Do Apple and finish up with Apple.
Apple out to October 17th. Options are implying a possible move up to 246 or down to 213.
I think we made a pretty good case today. And here's the beautiful thing about it. Every time we meet in the month of September, I will take the most highly probable trade to make your money. My goal will be that you'll get the roadmap free for a year. All I'm asking you to do, get it downloaded, and let's make some money together. I can't be any more generous than that. Can I, Jonathan? Can you think of me being more generous than that?
Sounds good to me. I mean, let me throw the slide
What do y'all
deck.
think? You think this is good? What I did? I think so. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up. It's gonna be a great day. Notice S&P is at 6503. Looks like to me that the market is getting ready to have a good afternoon. For those that want to hear this again, I think Jonathan's going to get a recorder and replay it. Thank you, Jonathan. I got to go. I'm late.
Thanks, Tom. I'm going to replay last night's Wednesday on the web, the pitch part of it, when Tom's talking about the roadmap. So let me get that video situated in a minute or two, and then we'll play that recording.
Now let's get my number one tool in your hand. DTI opening bell breakouts. I'll show you how to simplify the art of trading. Now simplifying it means, what does it mean? It means putting all the clutter out of your mind and knowing for sure you can identify whether to be long, short, or out. I know it's a bold promise, but I base it on the mistakes I made and obstacles I overcame to be here tonight. It comes down to two simple steps. Whether to be long, that means buying the market, short, or out. Which instrument to buy if you are choosing long or short? It is by far the most important question any trader can answer every day. I answer it every reference bar. I answer it every day. I answer it every week. This week, I said, it's a long, and boy, it's playing out that way. Get the answer right, you can write your own ticket, and we've been doing it. Today, the secret weapon I use to make that decision and how to leverage those positions by trading the right instrument is the following. Over 75% of stocks follow the S&P 500. That means if you can get the direction right, the odds are heavily favored that you're going to win that day. And finally, doing it every day by 10:05, that opening bell breakout strategy, it works, it's reliable. And by the end of this workshop, you have an edge over 95% of traders out there and know how to answer the question of long, short, or out. Before we dive in, for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Tom Busby, former Air Force officer, active trader since the 70s, former member of Chicago Mercantile Exchange, have 3 great books, Winning the Day Trading Game, The Markets Never Sleep, and Trade to Win. I built that school there in Mobile, Alabama in the year 2000, moved in 2001, taught a many student there. Did I have any of my students that came to Mobile and sat in that beautiful classroom, that theater style classroom that we had? Anybody here tonight? I see Dax, James. I see a lot of students saying, yes, Steve, John, a lot of people. Yep, that was the place for many years. Everything we do here at DTI revolves around answering that question, long, short, or out, getting it right the majority of the time, and making our accounts grow. Here's 5 insights to help you answer that question on a daily basis. Listen up, write these down. Number 1, you got to know the pivot number. The pivot number I gave you today, I'll give you one tomorrow. And the key is being long, short, or out. That's insight number 1. You start with the pivot number. Above the pivot number, you want to be long. Below the pivot number, you want to be short. That's simple. We have buy and sell zones that increase the odds of success once you go long. That's identified inside our roadmap software, these zones. By using our tools, you know the strongest horse in the race. We call it the horse race trade, where you're comparing and let the numbers dictate to you which horse to ride. Insight number 4, leveraging those tickers with options. Now, options are the fastest growing part of futures options in stock. And most people, let me ask that question. Who just trades options versus who just trades stock? Just type options or stocks. If you trade both, type both. Who does? Where do you put your focus each day? There's a both. There's options. A lot of boths. Options. Okay. A lot of boths. That's good. There's Junior. He went by with a both. All right. So options are an integral part of your game plan today. Wasn't that way before. It is today. And insight number 5, you make your decision. You know where you're going to enter. You know where your target is. You have the discipline to stick to the plan, and you know where you're wrong. Using these insights make the right long, short, or out decision is what our success has come from. We'll do it tomorrow morning when we do our live event. We will make that decision in the morning during that first 30 to 45 minutes of trading tomorrow. We do it every day. I learned that process the hard way. Y'all remember this, October 19th, 1987. If you don't remember it, let me tell you about That was a day that changed the way I looked at the market, the way I thought about the market, and when I realized just how fast things could go from really good to really bad. On that day, 22.6% drop in an 8-hour period. It was crazy. I still remember a stock where a guy put an order in to get out of IBM. It took 3 days to find out where he got out. Now, I rebuilt my trading and my wealth by becoming an expert in one tactic, deciding whether to be long, short, or out. I know that sounds simple, but that's something I didn't do prior to October 19th, 1987. Answering that simple question every day got rid of my fear and made me a person of optimism and action. You're around me, I think you'll come away with the same conclusion. Now, should you be long, short, or out today? When I started this presentation, I gave you a pivot number for the night. What was the pivot number I gave you tonight? I gave it when we started. 64.75. Market's trading 64.75. It hadn't moved yet. DTI answers that question every day and every time frame throughout the night, morning, and day. Based on time, those key numbers, and leading indicators from the roadmap software. That's a picture of what we're looking at in the 24-hour market. Notice that we got Asia first, starts tonight. Then you got Europe, comes in at 4:30. You notice at 5 o'clock in the morning, when I get up every day, I start posting in my TNT room. USAM starts with the cash market at 9:30, and the afternoon is at 1:30 to the close. That's the way the market's divided around the globe, right there. I've had this roadmap for years and trade accordingly. Understanding time, the concept of reference bars. This is shown in Central Time. I know it's a little confusing. We just got through talking Eastern Time, so we went over to Central Time, which is an hour earlier. I grew up in the market in Central Time. There's the Asian time period, the European time period, the US early and US late. That's a picture of it as it develops throughout the night. Time also includes how we started the year, how we started the month, how we started the week, and how we started the day tonight. I will tell you, we started the day tonight at 64.86. 64.86. Understanding these concepts, where's our pivot? I gave it to you, 64.75. Where's our resistance right now? 64.85. Where's our support? 64.60. That's it. Art of framing. Connecting the futures market to options, connecting the futures market to the stock market, and the concept of the average movement each day. When you combine those elements, you answer that most important question in trading, whether to be long, short, or out. We're not talking about guessing. We're talking about using these pivot numbers to get you on the right side of the market. It develops that action plan for you. You're no longer worried about being fearful. You're no longer worried about optimism. All you're doing is following a process that allows you to write your own ticket. We boiled it down to these insights in each step of the DTI method in something incredibly simple, but it works. Simple is better. The roadmap makes it simple. Let me show you how it works in real life. It simplifies the DTI method with simple long, short, or out parameters. And the secret weapon in the roadmap comes into play. When you're looking at the RB Trader there, each reference bar is identified and you're able to see it with a trigger point, with a target, and where you're wrong. That's the way it sets up each of those reference bars throughout the 24-hour market. The computer does it for you. You don't have to guess. Whatever time you want to look at it, it's right there for you to see and take action. Makes life simple. These basic rules make it possible. And the best way to do it is using the DTI roadmap. I wouldn't trade without the roadmap. I said that in the beginning, and I think if you're trading without the roadmap, is there that many people out there that doesn't have the roadmap? I would tell you, you're trading what I would call foolishly when you can have the odds in your favor when you put your money at risk. That opportunity, you can use it every day with the training that we give you. We show you how it works, where you can understand how to use it and find every opportunity that I can find once your ability to get it on your computer and make it work. People tell me constantly, if I could just see the markets the way I see them, they could make so much money trading. Talking about our team and incredible market timing we have. It's all because we use the roadmap software. Let me say that again. The reason we're so good at this game of trading is the roadmap software. When the roadmap is not working, you can tell. Very rare when that happens, but you can tell. I go to the sideline. Roadmap is how you see the markets the way I do. And the first thing you'll learn with the roadmap is 4 simple power patterns. I want you to watch these patterns. I've been talking about these 4 patterns for years. Actually, this slide, I think, started in Dallas, Texas, when the light bulb went off, how to show people how simple it is. You see right there, pattern number 1, very simple pattern. You got a buy signal with a penetration bar going into that yellow zone on top, and then confirmed by the next bar. You can recognize that pattern at the key times. You're going to be making money. Now there's a buy failure where it tries to go up, doesn't confirm. Notice it reverses and typically hits the other target. So if it's a buy failure, it goes down to the sell target. The sell signal works just like the buy signal. It goes into the sell area, the yellow zone beneath where we're trading, confirm, down we come to the target. That's 3 of the patterns. And the last one, in a bull market, this is a killer. It tries to go down, can't go down, eventually goes above the penetration, and guess what? Off we go. That's just step 1. Here's the best part. We built the complete program around the roadmap so it will hold your hand and show you when to be long and when to be short. Has anybody ever had trouble deciding when to get in? Have you ever had trouble deciding, hey, I'm watching this stock, NVIDIA. I wonder if I ought to get in to the long side. Well, the roadmap colors it out for you. And when you see the penetration bar into the buy area, followed by the confirmation bar higher, you go long NVIDIA. It's that simple. It's called the Roadmap Trader Package. We give it to you in detail. You can watch it and become an expert on what I just showed you. You get the complete roadmap software. This allows you to see the market, trade what you see, know when to enter, know when to exit. Again, let me make this statement. I do not trade without this. Whether it's an up market, down market, or a sideways market, I'm using the roadmap software. You're going to get the Roadmap Trader course. This will turn you into a master trader. Y'all want to have some fun? Maybe if you got a little bit of experience, you got the roadmap, compete against somebody that's got a lot of experience. Notice your accuracy rate compared to theirs. It's proof in the pudding. I would go with you watching the roadmap as opposed to somebody else talking about what they know about the market. This is your secret weapon to be able to take advantage of people that think they know what they're talking about. The roadmap lays it out. We don't hold anything back. You will be able to call in with the best of them with those 4 simple patterns. We call it the 67% accurate package. If you start out at 67%, your odds of being higher are a lot greater. With the roadmap, once you make that process decision to be long or be short or to be out, you've got a 67% minimum accuracy rate. You make a career using those 4 patterns. The trade management course we put together shows you how to manage those trades. Set up the autopilot portion of it so you don't have to watch the charts all day. You're also going to get the rapid results quick start drive, where our method is put to the test with the computer. It pops up, gives you ideas during the day. Pretty good. Now I'm going to give you access to complete DTI training tools once you sign up. That's why I say this really should be our most expensive product, but it's not. Our roadmap support team helps you through training twice a week. We train from it when we go live. Every day at Train and Trade, we bring the roadmap out to show you what it's saying about the market. The roadmap software, the trader course, the 4 patterns module, the accuracy module, the trade management course, the rapid results, get started quick, full technical support, back it up, and our no-nonsense guarantee. Believe me, folks, you want to have the roadmap software. Worth a lot of money to me. And now, with the new feature of keeping track of these stocks, trading around the clock, you're going to love it. How you make your living. Here's what we're going to do today. We got a very special price. If you want to get joined tonight, you can buy 1 year access with all the training for $9.97. Go to dtitrader.com/roadmap. Take one of these off the shelf. We'll have a special training for roadmap people tomorrow. I'll put it on the schedule if enough of you come across the line and need help. Additional powerful features of the roadmap, like the ETR page, one of our oldest features. I got a whole screen over here dedicated. And now with the ETR page, you're going to know at 8 o'clock at night where these tickers are trading. Very key time. Compass charts. This is what it's going to tell you to be long or short and what to do when you get long or short. The trade tracker. This is how you look at a longer term view for the month. Find out what you ought to be long, what you ought to be short, or whether you ought to be out. It tells you, we'll train you on it, get you up to speed quick. We also have a predictor inside the roadmap. You can look out 30, 60, 90, 120 days. Let's say you own Berkshire Hathaway and you said, Tom, I'd like to go to January of next year. We can put it in here, Berkshire, and predict the price with about an 80% accuracy, if it's bullish, where it's going to be in January of next year. How valuable would that be? If you knew tonight, you had a ticker and you said to yourself, I'd really like to know where this stock's going to be next month, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months. Plug it in. How valuable would that be? Answer me. How valuable would that be to know that information? Pretty valuable. The predictor will give it to you. My commitment to you, I've been doing this a long time. You know, I've made and lost a lot of money in the market. We're in this together. Get the tool. Let us show you how to make it sing. And boy, will it sing for you. Now, we're going to limit the price tonight to 30. I will make sure everyone's onboarded correctly, where we limit the number of new members. Don't procrastinate. The people tonight will get that new upgrade feature of the stocks at no extra charge if you sign up tonight. Don't procrastinate. It's $9.97. Get the tool that's going to make a difference in your year tonight. We won't start your subscription till September. That gives you time to play with it. The rest of this week, get set up. Use the scanners. There's so much more to do for you. I hit some of the main themes, but the one thing I do want to do, anybody that signs up tonight, is get you up to speed before September starts. So we got a lot of work to do in the next few days. So get started. We'll know who you are and know how it works. If you got questions, type your name, email, phone number in here. We'll get those questions answered. But I want you to be part of it. We got a bonus. Y'all ready for the bonus? Who's ready for the bonus? Here it comes. 1 year access, $997 plus I will do, and I'll make this promise, in September, I will do 4, write this down, 4 dedicated classes where you won't have to pay the $997. That fair? I'll do it in September for you. 4 different times I'll pick out for the month of September where you can trade the roadmap live with me at different times throughout the day and night. Okay? That's a bonus. Any questions? Love this roadmap. Love what it does. So if you're one of those people that don't have it, okay? If you're one of those people that don't have the roadmap, get signed up, okay? I will give you my setups. We'll do that, first of all, how I use it. I know you've seen me use it. I'll show you how to set it up. We'll get that done. But we got to get you on board tonight where we know what we're dealing with and make the plan accordingly. We got 2 days left in September, so we got to get you up to speed before September goes. The new feature is available, John. We'll release it as early as tomorrow afternoon or the next day. We got to, get it set up, make sure it's loaded where you can download. Okay, the new feature is available. Yeah, we'll do the classes if you want us to on Tuesday and Thursday if that works better. Trade days both. Makes sense to me, Henry. Makes sense to me. Dex, the new feature, it keeps track of these stocks at 8 o'clock at night and shows you how they play in during the day. How they play in. If you were using what it told you at 8 o'clock, you could have made some money already with the roadmap. Any other questions? These are great questions. Thank you for asking. All right. This is pretty good. I think I don't know if you got a recording. We had a lot of people show up late. You might want to replay it again. I thought that was pretty good, getting the point across. Don't trade without it. Kevin says, Kevin's the one been posting all those victories in the market. Oh, I'm going to stop right now then, because I want you to replay it. People are tired. We got to get on it. Tomorrow's going to be a big day with NVIDIA coming out with earnings. I'm going to show people in train and trade and after why the roadmap is so important.